Hello, 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 everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? It's How To Tuesday. Oh, yeah. So, tonight, it's a practice session. There's not an actual painting. We're going to be learning all about perspective. Perspective, perspective, perspective. Boy, oh boy, I could use that lesson sometimes. So, my name is Eve. This is Eve's Creations Paint Party. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Say hi to the Mr. Butters. Mr. Butters is in the house. Oh, yeah. Say hi to your fans, buddy. That's right. Say hi. Hello, Mr. Butters. You're such a good boy. Yeah. So, we always got to give Mr. Butters props because he may chime in. You never know. So, there is no actual painting tonight. And if there's anything you'd like to know, if you're joining me live, let me know you're joining me live. Say hello, hello, hello. And if you have any questions for me, this is your practice session. So ask away. Now is your time to figure out all those little things when it comes to painting perspective in a painting. So these practice sessions are for you, so you can make your paintings at home that much better. Right? So say hello, hello. If you're painting with me tonight, I'm going to pour my paint. Same colors, every single party. Black, white, red, yellow, and blue. Hello, 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 everybody. Say hello. Hi, Marcia. How you doing, sweetheart? Marcia's here. Oh, yeah, the Marcia is here. Hello, Marcia. Okay. And I'm going to put you guys in your handy-dandy holder. I'm going to pour my paint. I'll tell you what weapons I'm using as I'm grabbing them. This way you know what brushes I'm using and the sizes. Hey, hey, Tammy. Tammy's in the house. Hi, love. How you doing, Tammy? Oh, there's Mr. Butters saying hi to Miss Tammy. Jackie's here. Hi, Margaret. Hi, guys. Hello, fam. Hello, 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 fam. Hello, hello, hello. Mr. Butters is saying hi, too. So we got Marcia and we got Tammy. And Jackie's here. Hello, Jackie. And Margaret. I'm doing all right, Margaret. I'm hanging in there. Doing pretty good. Much better than last week, that's for sure. Much better than last week. So I hope you guys are all ready for Eddie Spaghetti. And we're going to learn all about doing things in proper perspective. Hey, Julia. Julia's here. Julia's back. Back from more torture. Oh, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, I got Mr. Nifty's ready to go out. There's Mr. Nifty's. So, it is always free to watch. Tips are appreciated. Anyone that sends me, hey, Kelly. Anyone that sends me support will get little Nifty brushes for free. For free. Coming your way. So, I want to thank everybody for their support. I have a Jerry and Deborah and Diane and Jamie going out. So, hi, hey, Kelly. How you doing, sweetheart? So, Mr. Nifty's are on their way out, and thank you from the bottom of my heart. You all warm my heart for the support. I appreciate it. Very, 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 very much so. And let's get started. So, and I am sending Mr. Nifty's out every single time you send support because I am not sure about their longevity and they're small little suckers. So, you do tend to lose them. I lost a couple already. I don't know where they are. Maybe Butters found them. I have no idea where they are. Okay, so I'm going to teach you about perspective. So, perspective, you know, I was just saying before you guys hopped on, I probably could have learned some lessons in perspective, like life lessons. But that's a whole other video. That is definitely a whole other video. So tonight, we're learning about perspective in painting. Once I pick up the white paint, I just put all over the floor. So it begins. And so it begins, Butters. So it begins. So, I gotta show you guys my mess, right? So, of course I do. So, of course, I just dropped white paint all over my floor. And I show you my messes because if you're at home and you're painting and you make a mistake or you're making a mess, it's all good. We all do it. And I do it more. I do it at least probably every video. I make some sort of mess somehow. Julianne, sorry it's been a rough couple weeks. I missed you and your tutorials. Julianne, we missed you too. And I hope everything's better on your end. It's been a couple of rough little weeks for myself here. So back to what I was saying. So with perspective, I'm going to teach you 1-point perspective. I'm going to teach you doing perspective when you're painting objects, like a still life type thing. I'm going to teach you, the differences of how you paint something, whether it's close or far away. So that is another thing. Way back when, I hope you guys enjoyed the blast from the past. Way back when, I was doing That's It Thursdays. And there is a video that completely does a complete painting. It's a rainbow forest. And the whole video talks about 1-point perspective. So, I'll probably post that because it seems like you guys enjoyed getting the blast from the past that I posted just a couple of days ago. So I'll probably post the Rainbow Forest since it is Pride Month. And number 2, since I'm covering it with this lesson, it'll go along with it. Hey Maria, how you doing, sweetheart? Thank you for sharing your craft with me. You're much appreciated. Oh, of course, Maria. No worries. No worries. Okay, so I have my paint poured, and I have it cleaned up off the floor. And we're going to start with a bigger boy. He is a 1-inch flat. All right, and I'm going to move you in a little closer. Okay, he is a 1-inch flat. All right, so I'm going to swirl tap that big boy. And I'm going to explain to you 1-point perspective. So 1-point perspective is exactly how it sounds. It's everything going to 1 point. Okay? So, say I have that point on my painting, right? So, say we're going to make this into a small little sky, right? So, I'm just using my 1-inch flat and I'm just pushing blue paint around right now. That's all I'm doing. I'm just pushing some blue paint around so, you kind of get a gist or a feel of what I'm talking about. And I have this 1 point, right? So say that's your sun, that's your moon. You know how many paintings you've done with the path going to the moon and all that stuff? So that is all 1-point perspective. Anything coming out from this point is going to come out following certain angles. Okay? Following certain angles. So, everything in your painting should be pointing to that spot. Let's say it's your sun. Let's say it's your moon, right? Let's make it into a little moon real quick. A little moon on the horizon, right? Let's just make this into a little moon on the horizon there so you know what I'm talking about. Okay? So, everything should be going to that point. Now, say there's mountains in the painting, right? There's mountains along the horizon line here, right? This line going across, that's your horizon line. That's what it's called, all right? And say you have mountains in this painting. And I'm just going to do gray mountains just because I don't feel like making brown right now. So I'm mixing black and white together. Okay, so if that's my point, I'm going to put my mountains, right, coming out from that point. So I have them on my horizon line. And then the next one I do is going to get bigger, right? And then the next one would be getting bigger. All because these are coming out from that one point. And not only do they get bigger that way, you can bring them down, right? Say that one's there, then you can bring them down and have them get bigger coming towards you. Okay, so your mountains would be getting bigger and bigger as they come towards you. Now these are some pretty funky looking mountains if you ask me. So let's actually make them look like some mountains here, right? So let's see. Let's put a little highlight in here, right? Let's put a little highlight going on. Just grabbing white paint. That's all I'm doing. So I just did all my weird shapes with black and white. And now I'm grabbing some white paint. And I'm just putting a highlight on. And I'm going to grab some black paint. Put a shadow in. I'm just going to put a shadow in these. Alright, so the point is that they're getting bigger as they come towards me. And they're getting smaller. So see how this is to here, this is small, this is getting a little bit bigger, and then this is getting really, really big. That's the whole point. Okay, that's the whole point of when you draw things in perspective. Alright, now, say that there's, right, we want to just mist that out a little bit. So I'm going to take a dry brush and we're just going to mist this out a little bit. I'm just going back and forth with my brush and softening that all out. That's all I'm doing. I'm just softening that all out. Okay, so almost put that in my coffee. Hey, howdy, Deb. Just watching for a bit, but we'll do the replay hopefully tomorrow. All right, Deb. Sounds good. Hey, Deb, guess what I got for you? Debbie, 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 thank you so much. Mr. Nifty's coming on its way out. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Now, say that there's trees, right? So the trees are going to come out and get bigger as they come towards me. Okay, so say I'm following this line. So tree here, tree here, tree here, and tree here. Okay, see how I did those lines small? And then I made them bigger and bigger and bigger as they came towards me. So let's say tree here, tree here, tree here. Alright, so yep, so that should be coming soon. I should be dropping them in the mail soon. So, your objects that are closest to your point are very dark, and don't have a lot of detail. Okay, you don't want to put a lot of detail in them, and they're very dark, and they're small. So, as you come closer, your objects should be getting lighter and lighter and bigger. Right? So as you work your way closer, your object should be getting lighter and bigger. Right? So Mr. Tree is getting bigger there. This one's about medium size right here. Okay, and then Mr. Tree over here is going to be getting a little bigger. So, right? And then the tree that's closest to you is going to be the biggest. Right? So he's going to be really big. He's going to be really, 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 really big. And he's going to be the one with the most detail, right? So now I want to start adding detail to these. So we're going to turn around and put in, let's say you can see, you can see the bark on him, right? So I'm just adding some textures, right? Just adding some textures. You're going to see the highlights on him, really big, right? From the moon, so that's going to go really big, okay? And you can add some detail to the ones that are further away, but it'll be less and less. Notice how I wrap this all the way around? So then it's going to be less and less on this part. So like maybe just a little smidge, right? Just a little smidge. And then this one, even a smaller smidge. And this one's even a smaller smidge. Okay? So that's like if you're doing a path, right? And then this one a little bit. And then this one a little bit more. Okay? So you've seen these paintings all the time, right? It's the path in the woods. It's the ones with the lampposts, right? So your path or your reflection or whatever it may be. I've seen you guys do like 110 of these paint party paintings where it's a path in the woods or it's the one with the lampposts. This is what you're actually doing without even knowing it. So your path is going to be really small up by your point, and then as you move out, it's going to get bigger and bigger. So if you notice, yeah, I know this isn't like the best work of art here, but if you notice, everything is going, your eye is immediately going to this point, right? With your path, you're going right to that point. With your trees, to that point. You can't really see the mountains anymore, but they were going to that point. So that's the whole thing with one point perspective. Everything is going towards that one point. Now, what's pretty cool is that you can turn around. You can turn around and move that point around. It doesn't have to be in the middle of your canvas. It doesn't have to be right dead center to the center of your canvas. So if you're doing one of those trees or lampposts or whatever, and it's all you know, the Eiffel Tower one I've seen a lot, they're all going to that one spot. So that's how you do it. And as you move towards you, like towards you, right, everything's going to get bigger, lighter, and more detail to it. Okay, so let me move this out of the way because this is wet and I won't be able to do anything on it. And let me get a new one. Good thing I'm sitting on a bunch of them. You guys take a sneak peek at the rest of my house just then. Good thing it's fairly clean. You guys just got a sneak peek. Okay, so you can move that point anywhere you want to. It doesn't have to be in the middle of your canvas. It does not have to be in the middle of your canvas. So say you're doing a painting. Right? So let's throw a sky up here. I'm just grabbing yellow paint. Just grabbing some yellow paint. That's all I'm doing. Throw some yellow paint on here. And grabbing some red. Alright, grabbing some red and yellow together. Right, so say you're making a sunset. And it's off to the side, right? Say you're making a sunset and it's off to the side. And you want everything to go to that sunset. Okay, so what you're going to do is, now, if you want to, you can draw guidelines in for yourself. You know, if you want to do that, you can. You don't have to, but if you want to, you can. You just got to make sure you paint over them, that's all. So say everything is going towards that sunset. So if this is my point, right? That's my point. I'm going to have everything going towards that point. So it doesn't have to be in the center of your canvas. It doesn't even have to be on your canvas. Let that blow your mind for a minute. The point doesn't even have to be on your canvas. It could be somewhere like all the way over there if you want it to be. Alright, so with that point on my canvas, even say you're doing clouds, right? Even if you're doing clouds. So what you want to do is you could turn around. I'm just grabbing white paint now. And say I'm going to put clouds in here. Right? So turn around and you throw in a cloud. Right? Just throw in a little cloud here. I'm just scribbling with the corner of my brush. Just throwing in a little something, something. Okay? And then as your cloud... Hey, Cheryl! How you doing, sweetie? Running around doing your errands, right? I know how it is. Okay, baby, catch the replay. Okay, so my next cloud is going to be bigger. Alright, so my next cloud is going to be bigger. Okay, so see how automatically your eye is just going that way. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. Okay, so you don't have to turn around. I'm just filling in the background a little bit better for you guys so you can see the cloud. So I had my first cloud, right, over here. And then my next cloud, following my guideline, is much bigger. Right? And if you notice, your eye is automatically going to go that way. Hey, Lisa! Sounds good, sweetie. I got your Mr. Nifties on their way out, too. I just called your name before. Okay? And then... Now, say you're doing trees, right? Say you're doing trees. You're going to do trees on this landscape that you're making here. Right? Let's do some trees. So, your trees, same as before, even though your main focal point is not in the center of your canvas anymore, it's the same thing as before. You're still going to follow the guideline of it all going to that point. So I'm going to have one here. I'm going to have one here. And they're closer together. So they're closer together. And as you move your way out, they're going to get bigger and further apart. Alright? So notice... your eye's going right to that point again. With that, all you did, and you're not doing much. You didn't do very much at all. Right? So, and like I said, I am going to grab, my liner brush, if I can find it. Where's my liner brush? So, those of you who haven't seen one, this is a liner brush. This is what you use. You can make squiggly branches and all sorts of things with a liner brush. That's what this is. And you want to make sure your paint is nice and loose. Nice and loosey-goosey paint with this. Okay? So, on this tree, you're not going to see much. Very little. Very little on the details, okay? And then the same with this tree. Okay, we're not going to see much with this. So, if you guys ever want to get yourself a really cool, nifty little brush, get a liner brush. They're a lot of fun to play with. Alright, and then this tree is going to get a little bit bigger. So we're getting a little bit bigger with this tree. Okay, and then as I move my way out, this one's going to be a little bit bigger and taller. Right, so I'm just putting in little squiggly branches, and I'm just adding more and more details as I get closer and closer. So this way, these liner brushes are a lot of fun. Alright, and then this guy is going to be even thicker than the other ones. Okay, he's going to be even thicker. Right, so I'm going to make him even thicker, and you're going to see maybe some more details. So maybe you're going to see some thicker branches on this guy. Right? So his branches might be getting thicker. Right? And you're going to be seeing more of the detail. Hey, hey, Jerry's here! Hi, Kelly! Jerry, hi Jerry. We're learning about perspective, Jerry. Alright, so you're going to see his thicker branches. You're going to see his smaller branches. Right, so you're going to start seeing everything there is to the tree, because this is the tree that's closest to you. Okay, so what do you have to remember, right? What do you have to remember with the 1-point perspective and doing the lampposts and the trees and everything else you guys paint out there? 3 things you have to remember. Okay? As you get closer to the point, your stuff is smaller, darker or less detail, and closer together. Alright? Those are the 3 things you have to remember. So they're smaller, darker or less detail, one or the other, whatever, or 4 things you have to remember. You know how I'm so good at that. Or 4 things you have to remember. So they're either darker, smaller, less detail, closer together. There you go. 4. 4 things you have to remember. Alright, when you're doing 1-point perspective. Okay, and you can move that point anywhere you want to on the canvas. And as long as you do everything going to that point, following those directions, your eye will finally go to wherever you want your focal point on your painting to be. So focal point is exactly that. Where is your eye going to focus in your painting? So with that first one I did, I had it all focusing towards the center. Thanks, Jerry. Thanks, Kelly. I had it all focusing towards the center. Okay. On the second one, I have it all focusing to the side. All right. So those are just some key terms: focal point, horizon line, 1-point perspective. That's all just, you know, mucky yucky whatever technical terms. So you don't need to remember any of that. Just remember that wherever you want your eye to go, the things closest to that spot are smaller, darker, less detail, closer together. Hey, Diane, you need to finish your snail first? Okay. Watching tonight and still need to finish my snail. That's fine. There's not much to like paint tonight. Like, we're not really I'm more talking than anything. you guys have to listen to me jibber jabber because it's not like much I really have to paint to show you. It's more me explaining stuff. So you're going to have to deal with the jibber jabber. And I got my coffee, so there's going to be a lot of jibber jabber. Jerry, you got to make some time to paint. You know what, Jerry? Get yourself some small canvases, and even if you just do little doodles or something on them. Thank you, Diane. You enjoy my jibber jabber? Well, thank you. I appreciate that. So, we have, so far tonight, we have Marcia and Tammy and Jackie. Margaret's here, Julia, Kelly, Maria. Jerry's in the house. Welcome back, Jerry. Your Nifties are coming out, too. Your Mr. Nifties. If you don't know what I'm talking about, anybody who sends me support is getting Mr. Nifties. They're great for details. So, we call them Mr. Nifty. Okay. So, I have Marcia and Tammy and Jackie and Margaret and Julia and Kelly and Maria and Jerry and Diane and Cheryl is here. And Cynthia is telling me this is good. Okay, good. Yeah, sometimes I wonder, am I making any sense? Hey, Lori, how you doing, sweetheart? Welcome to the fam. Welcome to the fam. So, all right, as long as I'm making sense. Sometimes I'm not making sense. So I've got lots of how-to videos. I have them on YouTube. I have them on my page. And this way, you guys get what I'm talking about. And you could watch. There's a ton of them. Thank you, Maria. Great information. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. There's a ton of how-tos on there. How-to trees, how-to clouds, how-to mountains, how-to everything. You name it, there's a how-to on it. So, what I wanted to talk to you next about, or I could show you. Let me show you. Let me show you not having it on your canvas at all. Okay, so here, let me leave that up so you're not looking at the rest of my house. I don't think you guys are really interested in seeing my couch and my TV. Yes, Denise, so that's what I'm going to talk about next. Yeah, I don't think you guys have any interest in seeing my TV. So, if the perspective is off the canvas, Now, let's say you're doing a painting. Got to get a background on here real quick. I read your mind. Oh, scary. Great minds think alike, Denise. Great minds think alike. Okay. So, if your perspective, if your spot, your dot, or whatever you want to call it, Denise, is, and everybody else, welcome to the family if it's your first time here. Tuesdays is always How To Tuesday. Friday is Paint Party. So, trying to clean my big boy off real quick here. Okay, so, why don't we do, I'm going to do black and blue. And say you're doing a space painting, right? Say you're doing something that's, you know, say you're doing a painting of the outer space. You know, you're doing like a galaxy or whatever. Okay? And your focal point is completely off the canvas. So, right, let me slap this blue and black on here. If you guys have any questions as I'm doing this, just let me know. Just let me know. And it's amazing, now you guys are going to look at paintings and you're going to notice, you're going to sound really fancy. You're going to sound really fancy. You're going to turn around and be like, oh, that's the focal point in that painting. Oh, I just got paint on my elbow. You guys see that? You guys are going to be sounding really fancy because you're going to know, you're going to be like, oh, that's 1 point perspective. Oh, yes, as I lift my pinky and drink my coffee. That's 1 point perspective going on there. And that's the horizon line. Oh, yeah. So, say you're doing Galaxy, right? So I'm just doing blue and black right now, guys. I don't know if you realize what colors I'm using. And I'm just using my 1-inch flat to throw it on here. Big Boy. We call this guy Big Boy. That's his name. All my brushes have names. And it's the same supplies every single party. So, and Big Boy is one of them. Big Boy is one of them. So anybody who's new tonight, welcome, welcome, welcome to the fam. And it's so nice to have you here. And I hope you're practicing along. I know I went through those other things quite quickly. Okay, so say it's off the canvas. Alright, so you know what? Just for ha-has, I'm going to make the knob, my point because it's off the canvas. Alright, so the knob is my focal point. I want everyone's eyes to shoot up and in on my painting. And say I'm doing like a universe, right? What's the first thing that I have to remember? The stuff closest to the point. That's awesome, Jerry. You painted your baseboards with Big Boy this way. So you're painting baseboards, but you're not painting. So you're still painting, though. I'll take it. I'll take it, Jerry. You're still painting. Okay, so the first thing I got to remember is that the objects closest to my focal point are going to be smaller. Alright, so that's the one thing I want to remember. Alright, Deb, have a great night. Bye, sweetheart. Look for your Nifties. They're coming out. Okay, so I don't want to start doing like big round things all like up here because this is my spot right off the canvas. So I'm going to turn around and I'm going to go here and put my medium-sized planet. And one rule of thumb, if you want something to be a certain size, when you first map it out or you first put it on, make it smaller. Let's see, Cynthia, right? Margaret's got it. It's the smallest. Cynthia remembers. Darker, smaller, closer together, less detail. Cynthia, I'm telling you. Ding, 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 ding. You got it. You got it. All right. And another rule of thumb is if you're trying to make something a certain size, when you map it in, when you first, put it on there, make sure you make it smaller than what you want, because the more you play with it and the more details you add to stuff, and anyway, the more you play with it, the bigger it's going to get, right? So, and I want another planet, I'd say right here. Okay, so he's going to be a little bit bigger. He's going to be a little bit bigger. All right, so put that in there. Okay, and I'm going to switch to, I'm just going to switch to Tiny. Tiny is a #1 round brush. All right, so he's going to be there, and then I'm going to put a planet. I'm going to put one right up here. So this guy, he's going to be small. He's going to be teeny weeny, like Pluto. Did you know that they made Pluto not a planet? They took Pluto off of the planet list. They call it something else now. I think that's so messed up that they took Pluto off as being a planet. I grew up being Pluto as a planet. Alright, and then I'm going to put, let's say another one here. So, it's not as close as this one, but it's not as far away as this one. So I'm gonna have to make the size somewhere in the middle. Okay, somewhere in the middle. Right, and I'm just doing a scribble circle. That's all I'm doing. So you guys, if you ever are doing circles and you just scribble like this, you will get a pretty decent circle doing that. All right, and then let's say there's another planet, and I'm going to put him, he's really small. I'm going to put him right there. Okay, so I had to make him the smallest. All right, now, you guys notice your eyes whoop, are starting to go right to that point. And it's not even on the canvas. Okay, so it's going right to that point. All right, and say this planet, right? Did you guys know, too, that we took pictures of Saturn? I know, right, Cynthia? They really can't. It's like, why? Why did you do that? Did you know that we took pictures of Saturn recently, though? That's so crazy, right? So crazy. Okay, so say this guy has rings. All right, so I'm going to put rings around this guy. All right, so say he has a ring. All right, now this guy is going to have a ring. Obviously, the ring is going to be bigger. And another thing is, in this guy, you're going to see more details in him. So then I could turn around and put like little like craters in them, right? Little like fun little things going on, little designs going on in here. Okay, and I'm going to turn around and add maybe a big crater on them. Okay, so I'll add that in there. And another thing is that say this is a light source, right? If this is a light source, then all of your highlights have to follow your light source. All right, guys? So, even though this guy's really far away, right, you're going to give him a highlight. And then my light source is here. So what you want to do is you find the angle it's going to hit the other objects. So you can put a little highlight on them. I mean, not much else, right? So then I'm going to turn around and it's going to hit this guy. It's going to hit this guy right here. All right, so not only do you have to keep your shape and your size in check, you have to turn around, and if your point is a light source, you have to make sure you're putting your highlights all facing that light source. Okay, so you have to make sure you're putting your highlights all facing that light source. And like I just did, all you need to do is use your paintbrush. Just use your paintbrush and point it out. Okay, so that one hits there. That one's going to hit there. This one is going to hit here. Okay, his highlight's going to be hitting up here. Okay, and then I can make the highlight spot obviously bigger, right? So if you notice, tiny, 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 a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger. All right, so not only do you have to do, you know, if you turn around, not only do you have to worry about smaller, darker, further apart, if it's a light source, you have to make sure that your objects have the highlight in the direction of your light source. Okay? So say you're adding other little things to your universe, right? Say it's not just planets. Say you have stars, right? So your stars are going to be little tiny little things over here, right? Just little tiny specks. And then say it's a swirl of stars. Ooh, that sounds cool, right? So say it's a swirl of stars, right? So I'm going to start my swirl. Little tiny specks going in. Little tiny, right? Really close together, really small. All right? And then as I work my way out, I'm going to get bigger. I'm going to make the bigger. Okay? So as you work your way out, it's going to become bigger. Right? Further apart. Okay? Right? Work your way in. Small. Closer together. Okay? So you can have like a little star swirl going on. So if you notice though, your eye right to that point, and that's what you want. That's the kind of effects you want when you're doing perspective in a painting. Okay? Now, the next thing I want to show you is how to do perspective when you're painting objects like I'm trying to get the paint off my elbow. The Milky Way, right? Kind of looks like the Milky Way, right? Anything, you know? And then say you're going to do, I could paint this one all night. But say you want to do like little satellite dishes, right? So up here, right, if you say you have like a little satellite spaceship thing going on, okay, again, small and not much detail. And then say there's like another one over here, right? So he's going to be bigger. So you can do the same shapes, but you know, this one's going to be bigger. And you're going to see more going on. Like maybe it has like a little radar dish going on. You know, whatever you want to add to it. Now, the thing is I kind of screwed up because, yeah, this guy shouldn't be as big as my planet. All right? He really shouldn't. So that's what I want to show you next is drawing objects in perspective to other objects. All right? Because that's easily, you know, you can easily kind of mess that up. Like obviously our satellite dish isn't going to be bigger than our planet. Right? But you get the idea. So that's the point off of the canvas. This is your point to the side of your canvas. Okay? So give you guys a look-see at that. And then we did our point if it was in the center of our picture. Okay? All one point perspective. Okay? All of them. Alright, so I'm going to go back to the other canvas, and I want to show you drawing these in perspective to each other. If you guys have any questions, shout them out. Shout them out, right? These are Galaxies are a lot of fun to paint. They really are. You can have a lot of fun with them. And I'm kind of a control freak, so I don't do the splatter stars. Like if you were going to do the splatter stars and you want to make them like closer together. So if you're doing the splatter stars and you want to make, I'm not a fan of splatter stars. I'm really not, because I like having my control. But if you were to do the splatter stars, what you want to do is you're going to hold your brush closer and do a flick. And then with these, you hold your brush further away. And that way it gets more of a spread. That's how you would do the splatters. Either close, you would hold them closer. And then to get the dots further and further away from each other, you would hold your brush that you're splattering from further from the canvas. Alright, so, right, Kelly, you don't like splatter either, you make a mess? Yeah, I don't know, I think it looks really, really cool when it's done, but at the same point, I think I'm more of a control person. So, I'm trying to figure out a way to set something up so you can see what I mean about drawing objects and keeping them in perspective with each other. But, alright, well, yes, the Aurora Borealis in the painting, Denise. Somebody else just asked me about that last one. What were we doing that I got asked about the Aurora Borealis? What was it that I was doing? I was teaching something. I think I still have it here. What was I teaching? You guys remember? Oh, here it is. So, I was teaching blending. That's what I was teaching. I was teaching blending. This was the blending lesson last week. Yeah, the blending. Good job, Kelly. Good memory. So if you noticed, I kind of did the perspective without even trying it. See how it's all the way? Yes, Chloe. Thank you so much. So see how I started here and the lines are small? And then as I got closer, I made the lines even bigger. Okay, so that would be the Aurora Borealis. So you would start off and your lines would be smaller. And then as you swirl it in, they're going to get bigger and bigger. Yeah, I see, look, I drew that in perspective. Go Eve, hello. I painted that in perspective without even paying attention. See, guys? That's what happens if you keep painting. You're just going to do things automatically and not even know you're doing them. Not even know that you're doing them. So, what I want to teach you is painting things in perspective to each other. And I don't have anything set up, so we're just going to roll with it. Maria, you missed blending. I can send you the link, hun. You'll have to message me. Or, it was last week. So if you go through my videos, it was the last how-to video. And, yeah, it didn't make it to YouTube because something got screwed up. Okay. Hey, Tracy's here. Happy Friday, Tracy. Now I know it's Tuesday. All right. So say you're painting objects in perspective to each other. Now, pray I don't drop these. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to pay attention to where the objects hit. Some people draw a grid. You can do a grid. Seems like a lot of work to me. All right, so you want to pay attention to where the objects hit each other, right? So I'm going to pay attention to this space right here. Okay, so if I'm painting these and I want them true to size to each other, I'm going to pay attention to where the one object is hitting the other object. I just told somebody about that when we did our horse and buggy. So when they painted their horse, it was Lisa, she's still on. When she painted her horse, it came out smaller than how I painted it. So I told her to follow the lines of the horse on where they match up with the buggy. So this is how you turn around and figure out objects. That's the whole thing. When you're doing objects in a painting, like if you're doing a still life, right? You want to make sure you're paying attention to where those objects hit each other. Hey, girl. So, let's see. So I'm going to make a table. Right? So let's just do a light blue table. Right? So I'm going to do a table end. Like you would if you had, you know, say you're doing one of those still lifes, or somebody's doing like the vase with the flowers, right? And you're doing all of that good stuff. Okay, and when you're drawing it, when you're painting it, yours is not the same size as the instructor that's showing you, right? Or you're home and you just put a few objects on your table and you try painting them. That's totally fine too. You can do that. So, what you want to pay attention to is where those objects are lined up in relation to each other. Now that sounded really tricky, but it's not. Basically, you just want the same spot where they hit each other. Where they hit each other, you want them to hit each other. You know, you find where the spot is that it's hitting the other object. Okay, so let me paint in the one base, right? So the one base, we're gonna make it pink, just to do some more colors here, right? So I'm gonna do the one base pink, right? Or the one flower pot pink. Okay, so there is the one flower pot, right? So I have my flower pot on my table. Okay, put a little shadow in the top here. Right, so there's my flower pot. Okay, now my other flower pot, when I was holding them up to you guys, and say this one, say the small one is in front of the other one. Okay, so now I want to pay attention to the bottoms and I want to pay attention to the top. Okay, so if I'm looking at this, the bottom is about a finger away and the top is about 2 fingers away. Okay, so I know the distance here and the distance here. Okay, so when I go to do my flower pot on my painting, and I'm just grabbing Big Boy again, and I'm grabbing white and yellow. So when I do the flower pot on my painting, I know the bottom is going to be lower than this one. Okay, because it's in front of it, so it's going to go lower. If it's in front of it, the bottom's going to be lower. And I know the top is further down because it's a smaller pot. Okay, so that when you're doing objects, you just want to pay attention to where does the object line up compared to the other one. I didn't clean Big Boy very good because there's blue left in him, but that's okay. Kind of making pretty colors here, so I'll go with it. Right? So you just want to pay attention to where the one object hits the other object. Right? And that's how you put objects in perspective to each other. So when I look at this now, and I look at my flower pots, right? It's lower, this guy's higher and this guy's lower. Okay? So, when I painted it, this guy was lower from the bottom. That's the bottom of the one. So the bottom of this one's down here. And then the space between the two tops is here. So that's the whole thing with painting objects in perspective to each other. So I'm going to put the flower pots away because I don't want to get paint on them. Because that'll be my next trick, right? Now, say there's like a little egg or something, right? So an egg is going to be small, right? I already know it's going to be small. What's the one thing I said? Paint something smaller than you actually want it. Because if you start off painting it the size you want it, by the time you're done adding all your details and everything else, it's going to wind up being bigger. Alright? So, let's say the egg is hanging out next to the big pot. But I know he's small, and he's going to be a little lower. Right? So I'm going to put him a little lower. And I'm going to make them smaller. Or say it's a little piece of bread or something. Alright, so I pay attention to where the bottom's hitting. Okay? And its size. Right? So my little egg or bread or whatever you want to call this is, right? Their size is small. So the size is a lot smaller than this one. And this is smaller than that one. So, you want to, when you're painting objects, right, what's the things you have to remember with the painting objects? Bye, Kelly! See you later, sweetie. What's the thing about painting objects? You know, the things you have to pay attention to. The size of them compared to the other objects. Alright? Where do the certain lines hit the other objects? Okay? So, like I said with the flower pots, 2 fingers down, right? 1 finger down from here. So, where do they line up? And that's pretty much it when you're painting objects in comparison with each other. You know, you want to pay attention to the sizes, right? Make sure that their size, if this is an egg, you know, unlike when I did the satellite dish with the planet, my satellite dish was bigger than my planet. That's not good. So you want to pay attention to the sizes compared to all the other objects. How big are they compared to the other objects? And where are they lining up? So, I'm going to show you an example. Sorry, I had to walk back into my bedroom. Okay, so I'm going to show you an example of the objects lining up to each other. Alright, so we did this one thanks to Kim. Kim wanted the horse and buggy, right? So, when we were painting this, notice the perspective, right? So, my focal point is back here somewhere. So, this house is smaller than the barn. Alright? When we got to the horse and buggy, okay, it's closer, more detail. Same with the barn. You know, you can see the hay in the barn. You can see the different railings on here. You know, there's very little detail on this house. Much more detail with the barn because you can see the 3D of the whatever this is, lean-to. When you don't see any of that with the porch here. Okay, and then when we got to the buggy, what you'd want to do is, say you painted your horse, which this actually happened to somebody. Say you're painting your horse, and your horse is smaller than the person instructing, than the instruction you're watching. When I painted this, I had to pay attention to where does the buggy line up to the horse. Hi, Magna. Hi, sweetheart. Yes, it's beautiful out. So Magna's popped on and she said, I'm outside, and she's riding her bike. Well, don't be watching this and riding your bike at the same time, sweetie. So, when I painted this, I followed the lines. The top of the buggy, right, I just followed it straight across, was at the head of the horse. The bottom of the buggy was at its belly. Well, not the bottom, but the window was at its belly. The bottom of the buggy was a little bit up from the legs. Okay, so when you're doing these, and I just got blue paint on my finished painting, but that's okay. I'll wipe it off. So when you're painting objects, right, the plow is smaller than the horse. Okay, so you're probably doing this in your artwork already, and you just don't realize you're doing it. But if you ever get stuck to where somebody's painting something, line up the spots on how they compare to the other thing. Okay, that's how you do that. Like I said, the buggy was to his head, the window was to his belly, and the bottom was above his legs. All right, that's how we do that. All right, I had to do it. You have to do it. Everybody has to do it. If you want your stuff to be in perspective of the objects you're painting, you got to follow your lines. You got to watch where things are matching up. So I'm going to show you Friday's painting. It's not done yet. So this is going to be this Friday. It's Sunset Falls. So fam and new fam members and everybody that's on here, you're not riding your bike while you're watching. You're multitasking. Okay, sweetheart. I'm Magna. So this is Friday's painting. It's not done yet, but it's going to be called Sunset Falls. And if you notice how I did my mountains, see? Look. Here's my focal point. My mountains, swoop, going straight to that focal point. Thank you, Magnus. So, my mountains over here, swoop, straight down to that focal point. Okay? Things that are close to me, a lot of detail. Right? Top of the rock here, everything has lots more detail. If you notice the falls, right? This one's lower, this one's a little higher, and this one's the highest, right? Straight to that focal point. So, these are all the things that when you're doing your painting and you want to make sure your things are in perspective, that's how you're going to do your perspective. Okay? So, I think I told you everything, right? I told you when you're doing objects, make sure that your sizes are what they're supposed to be in comparison to everything else. Paint it smaller than you actually want it. Pay attention to where do the objects hit each other. All right? And the perspective, you can have it going right off of the canvas. Thanks, Jerry. You can have it going right off of the canvas. Same rules apply. So you can have it going right off the canvas. You can have it going to the side of the canvas. Or you can have it in the center of your canvas. Okay? And there is I did do a paint party. It was Rainbow Forest. So I am going to post that because throughout Rainbow Forest, I'm talking about 1 point perspective, and it's to the center. And you guys can watch that video and paint a Rainbow Forest if you want, because that's another throwback. So I will post that on my page. So, everybody, if you have any questions, now's the time to ask me. And it's always free to watch. Tips are appreciated. If you send me a tip, make sure I have your address so I can send you out a Mr. Nifty. And I thank you so much in advance. You want to do koi, Jerry? We can do koi fish. I'll put it on my list. I think I just saw somebody do koi fish painting. Some other paint party whatevers. But I'll put it on the list. I'll put it on the list. So, I just want to thank everybody. Roll call. So, Denise and Marcia and Tammy and Jackie and Margaret and Julie and Kelly and Maria and Jerry and Diane and Cheryl and Cynthia and Lori and Megna's here. And we had Maria and Chloe. So, been great to watch. Thank you so much, Kim. But you watch me. Yes, you do watch me. I just don't want to piggyback off of anybody. But I will. I think it's been a while since the koi one was out there. So I can do my own rendition of a koi one. This Friday, Sunset Falls. So thank you guys so much for chiming in on How To Tuesday. Thank you so much for your support. It really warms my heart. You all warm my heart. Welcome to the fam if you're new painting with me tonight. And I'm going to see you guys on Friday. So, have fun and go create. All right? Jerry, I took it off of the PayPal. I took your address off of the PayPal, hon. You're welcome, Mandy Pandy. Welcome to the family. I gotta see that? There's a moth in here. You're so welcome. Thanks, Jerry. It's so good to see you again. Well, virtually see you again. Mwah. Love you bunches, hon. Thank you, everybody, so much. Thank you, Jerry. You're a sweetheart. I'm going to post this replay. I'm going to put, I think Facebook's doing something weird. So the replay might be on the event page already. And hopefully if everything works out, it'll be on my YouTube. Julia Ann, you are most welcome. Thanks for the class. Learned a lot. Awesome, sweetie. Alright guys, don't forget this Friday, 7 p.m., same bat channel, same bat place. Sunset Falls. Oh yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Somebody asked me for waterfalls, so I'm doing waterfalls. And somebody asked me for jellyfish, so we're doing jellyfish. We're doing it all. Oh yeah. Alright, thank you everybody for watching. My name's Eve, Eve's Creation Paint Party, and y'all warm my heart. Have fun and go create. Good night, everybody. Thank you.